Hi guys, and welcome to my channel where I talk about all things Harry Potter related. In today's video, I'm going to explore Dumbledore's timeline leading up to the events of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Let's get started. According to the official Harry Potter website, J.K. Rowling says that Dumbledore was born in 1881. So that's the year from which we can establish some of the dates of the following set of events. Dumbledore was the son of Percival and Cantrip Dumbledore, and the elder brother of Aberforth and Ariana. When Ariana Dumbledore was 6, she was attacked by a group of Muggle boys. We know this from the Deathly Hallows, when Aberforth Dumbledore says, "When my sister was 6 years old, she was attacked, sat upon by 3 Muggle boys. It destroyed her what they did. She was never right again." Percival Dumbledore, her father, sought revenge on Ariana's attackers. In the Deathly Hallows, Aberforth Dumbledore says, "And my father went after the bastards that did it, and attacked them. And they locked him up and asked them for it." In the Deathly Hallows, it's further explained that the attack was savage and was well publicized. In order to protect Ariana, her father Percival never explained the reason for his attack. As such, it was believed to be an anti-Muggle attack. Percival was convicted and sent to Azkaban, where he would eventually die. In the book, it states that Percival was convicted about a year before Albus started Hogwarts. Dumbledore started Hogwarts in 1892, so we can place this event in 1891. After which, to get away from the stigma of the attack, the Dumbledore family moved to Godric's Hollow. Albus Dumbledore starts Hogwarts in 1892. This date can be determined by adding 11 years to Dumbledore's birthday. We also know that he sorted into Gryffindor. The next major event in Dumbledore's life is when Ariana Dumbledore accidentally kills her mother, Cantrip Dumbledore. Aberforth Dumbledore describes this event as follows. "It was an accident. Ariana couldn't control it, but my mother was killed." Based on the book, we know Ariana was 14 when this event takes place, so we can date it to 1899. It's also referenced that this happens after Albus graduates from Hogwarts. This is also the time when Grindelwald, who is visiting Godric's Hollow, strikes up a friendship with Albus Dumbledore, which lasts a couple months, until Albus, Aberforth, and Grindelwald get into a duel, and Ariana is killed. Aberforth, who was angry that his brother was neglecting their fragile sister for his new friend, confronted Albus and Grindelwald about their plans to leave Godric's Hollow to make their mark in the world. In the Deathly Hallows, Aberforth Dumbledore tells Dumbledore, "You can't take her with you wherever it is you're planning to go, where you're making your clever speeches, trying to whip yourself up a following." Grindelwald tells Aberforth that he just doesn't understand. A duel breaks out between the 3 wizards. The duel overwhelms Ariana, and she reacts in some way that results in her getting caught in the crossfire, and she gets killed. It's not known who cast the spell that killed her. At Ariana's funeral, Albus and Aberforth get into a brawl, ending with Aberforth breaking Albus's nose. That's why Albus had a crooked nose. In the 1920s, Albus Dumbledore becomes a professor at Hogwarts. Armando Dippet is the headmaster at this time. In the 1930s, Dumbledore visits Tom Riddle, reveals that the boy is a wizard, and invites him to Hogwarts. This is also when Tom tells him that he can speak to snakes. In the early 1940s, we have the events of the Chamber of Secrets being opened for the first time. The events are pinned on Hagrid, who gets expelled, but Dumbledore convinces Headmaster Dippet to let Hagrid stay at Hogwarts to be trained as gamekeeper. In 1945, Albus Dumbledore defeats the now Dark Wizard Grindelwald. The threat posed by Grindelwald and his plans for world domination became so dire that Dumbledore had no choice but to intervene and confront his old friend in an epic duel. In the end, Dumbledore wins the duel and takes Grindelwald's wand, the Elder Wand. This battle is very notable in the wizarding world and is featured on Dumbledore's chocolate frog card. Grindelwald is subsequently imprisoned. This is also the year that Voldemort finishes Hogwarts. In the 1960s, Albus Dumbledore becomes headmaster of Hogwarts. Dumbledore becomes headmaster after being the Transfiguration teacher for quite some time. He replaces Armando Dippet. In the late 1960s, Voldemort returns to visit Hogwarts to ask Dumbledore for the Defense Against the Dark Arts position at Hogwarts. However, Voldemort's true purpose for the visit was to hide one of his Horcruxes, the diadem of Ravenclaw, inside the Room of Requirement. Dumbledore declines to offer Tom the post and says to him, I know what you're known as, but to me, I'm afraid you'll always be Tom Riddle. Voldemort leaves, but he puts a curse on the defense against the Dark Arts position, such that no teacher was able to stay in the post for more than a year. In 1980, Dumbledore interviews Sybil Trelawney for the divination position at Hogwarts. Dumbledore meets her at the Hog's Head for the interview, where Trelawney makes a prophecy about a baby who will be born at the end of July, a baby who will be able to defeat the Dark Lord. Lurking outside the door and listening was Severus Snape, who at this point was the Death Eater for Voldemort. He's caught and thrown out by Aberforth Dumbledore, owner of the Hog's Head, before he can hear the entire prophecy. Snape ends up telling Voldemort the part of the prophecy that he overheard. In July 1980, Harry James Potter is born to James Potter and Lily Potter. His birth fulfills a prophecy given months before by Sybil Trelawney. Later, in 1980, Snape meets Dumbledore to turn sides. Severus Snape meets with Albus Dumbledore to warn him that Lily Potter and her child are in danger of being attacked by Voldemort. When Voldemort overheard the partial prophecy that Snape relayed, he decided that the line "born after the 7th month dies" referred to a baby born in July. The only two children born in late July of 1980 were Neville Longbottom, a pureblood, and Harry Potter, a half-blood, and he chose a half-blood child most like himself. Unfortunately, Harry was the son of Lily Potter, the love of Snape's life and his childhood friend. Snape promises to do anything in return for Dumbledore to help keep them safe. In The Half-Blood Prince, Dumbledore explained to Harry that later it became the greatest regret of Snape's life and the reason that he returned to the good side to try and save the Potters. In 1981, Severus Snape is hired by Dumbledore to teach potions at Hogwarts. Snape had applied for the post of Defense Against the Dark Arts, but Dumbledore refused. In The Half-Blood Prince, it's revealed that he took up the post on Voldemort's orders, so it's important to note that Snape has turned sides at this point and is spying against Voldemort now. In 1981, Dumbledore offers to be the secret keeper for James and Lily, but they decline, planning to go with Sirius Black instead. But at the last minute, switch to Peter Pettigrew. Later that year, Voldemort attempts to kill Harry Potter after murdering James and Lily Potter, but the spell rebounds onto Voldemort, leaving him without a physical form. Harry Potter survives, after which Sirius Black and Hagrid arrive in Godric's Hollow to find the devastation, Hagrid insisting on following Dumbledore's instructions, and delivers baby Harry to Dumbledore in Privet Drive. Dumbledore is waiting at Privet Drive to leave the baby with the Dursleys. So that's a summary of Dumbledore's timeline leading up to the events of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, feel free to let me know if there are any specific topics you would like me to cover in an upcoming video. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one, where I'm going to discuss the best behind the scene moments from Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.